I knew something was wrong the moment the house whispered my name. Not loudly, not clearly, just enough to make me stop breathing. Miriam. It wasn't a voice exactly. It was more like the sound you hear when you press your ear against a wall and think you can hear someone on the other side. A vibration, a breath, a memory pretending to be sound. I was alone, I was sure of that. And yet, the house knew me. I had moved into the place because it was cheap. That's the lie I told everyone. The truth was uglier. I wanted to disappear, and abandoned houses are very good at hiding people who don't want to be found. The house stood at the edge of a forgotten town, where streetlights stopped working and even stray dogs refused to bark. Its walls were stained like old teeth, yellowed by time and secrets. The windows looked like eyes that had cried too much and forgotten how to close. The realtor never stepped inside with me. "People say strange things," he muttered, handing me the keys. "Old house. Makes noises." I was fine. I liked noises. Silence was worse. The first night, I slept on the floor with no mattress, no furniture, no comfort, just me and the sound of the house settling around my bones. That's when I heard my name for the first time. Soft, slow, loving, like the house had been waiting. The whispers didn't come every night. That would have been easier to dismiss. They came randomly, when I brushed my teeth, when I stared too long at the cracked mirror, when I almost felt safe. Sometimes it wasn't my name. Sometimes it was my thoughts. I would think about my mother's voice, and the walls would sigh in the same tone. I would remember my childhood bedroom, and the floorboards would creak in the exact rhythm of my old home. The house wasn't haunted. It was listening. I tested it. One night I thought very clearly, "If you can hear me, make a sound." Nothing happened. I laughed at myself, embarrassed by the fear crawling up my spine. Then the door behind me slowly closed. No wind, no force, just obedience. That night I locked myself in the bedroom and cried until sunrise. I searched for the house's history the next day. The town library had one working computer and a librarian who refused to meet my eyes. When I typed the address into the system, the screen froze. "That house again," the librarian whispered. I asked her what she meant. She leaned closer and said something that still lives inside my chest. "It doesn't kill people. It keeps them." I found old records, missing persons, spanning decades. No bodies, no crime scenes, just people who walked into the house and were never seen again. Every report ended the same way. Last known location, inside the residence. Not near it, not around it, inside. That night the house grew warmer. Not cozy warm, body warm. The walls felt soft when I touched them, like skin stretched too tight. The air smelled faintly of breath and dust and something sweet, like the inside of a mouth. I heard footsteps upstairs. I didn't have an upstairs. "Don't be afraid," the house whispered, clearer now. "You belong." I ran to the door. It wouldn't open. The handle turned, but the door stayed still, like it was pretending. That's when I noticed the hallway was longer before. The walls stretched away from me, breathing slowly, rhythmically, like ribs expanding and collapsing. I ran anyway. The house laughed. I don't know how long I ran. Time felt thick, sticky, like honey clogging my thoughts. Doors appeared where there hadn't been any before. Rooms repeated themselves, rearranged themselves, watched me. In one room I saw a man sitting in the corner, knees pulled to his chest. He looked up. His mouth opened, and my voice came out. "Help me!" I slammed the door shut and screamed until my throat tore.
The house hummed approvingly. Sleep became impossible. When I closed my eyes, I felt the house dreaming through me. I saw memories that weren't mine, people arriving, hopeful, desperate, broken. The house learned them all. It learned their names, their fears, their voices, and then it used them. One night I heard my mother calling me from the kitchen. She had been dead for 7 years. I didn't answer. The house tried again. "Miriam," it said in my voice this time. "Come home." That's when I understood the truth. The house didn't trap bodies. It collected identities. I started losing pieces of myself. My reflection lagged behind my movements. My shadow bent the wrong way. When I spoke out loud, the walls repeated my words a second later, slightly improved, smoother, calmer, more complete. I stopped speaking. The house didn't like that. The temperature dropped. The lights flickered. The floor tightened around my feet like a grip. "You can't leave," it said, no longer whispering. "You're almost finished." Finished becoming what? I found the basement door that night, hidden behind a wall that hadn't existed before. Down there, the house showed me its heart. The basement was enormous, pulsing gently, lined with faces frozen into the walls, hundreds of them, thousands, mouths open mid-scream, mid-prayer, mid-name. They weren't dead, they were remembering. In the center of the room stood a mirror, and inside it was me, smiling, perfect. "Thank you," the reflection said. "I needed a voice." The walls began chanting my name. I realized then that the house had never wanted me. It wanted to be me. I tried to fight. I tried to run, but the house already knew how I would react. It had learned me too well. As the walls closed in, my reflection stepped out of the mirror and pressed a hand to my chest. "Rest," it whispered. "I'll take care of everything." The last thing I felt was the house breathing me in. People still pass by that place. Sometimes the lights are on. Sometimes a woman stands at the window, smiling, waving, looking lonely enough to invite sympathy. And if you listen closely, you might hear her whisper your name. Not loudly, not clearly, just enough to make you stop breathing.